think about throughout your lives, especially when maybe you were younger and full of energy and full of energy. Think of the scars you've retained over the years, physical scars that you may have on your hands, on your feet, anywhere on your body that tells of a story of a time when this or that happened. You might have been in a car accident and you've had scars from that, or you may have had surgery and you've had scars from that, or just simple scars from working or playing or what have you. But you have physical scars that you have retained over the years. And think also not only of physical scars, but also emotional scars too. We all carry those. Pains of times past, present pain, things that have happened to us that have hurt us emotionally and scarred us and changed us in certain ways. If you lost a job, a loved one, suffered something else, it takes a while. Sometimes physical pain and scars are quicker to heal than emotional scars are. But it's something that we humans live with, and we grow through them. Oftentimes, if a bone is broken, it'll heal stronger than it was before. There are times when it doesn't heal completely, that there will be something that is going on. I remember a story, and I might have told you this before. A pastor friend of mine was asked to go to a hospital to visit a young man who had been burned over 80% of his body and was inconsolable. He wouldn't talk to anybody. He was very angry. And so my friend didn't know what the circumstances were. He just said, would you go visit this young man in the hospital, and you'll know why. And so my friend went to the hospital and looked at the bed and saw the young man with scars from the burns recovering. And the young man said, what do you want? Kind of in an angry kind of a tone. And my pastor friend looked at him for a second and then raised his shirt to show that he had been burned over a good part of his side and his hip, and it never healed. And immediately the man opened up and found that there was common ground. The scars that he had were also shared by the scars that my friend had. And so there's an understanding there. Scars of something that had happened in the past that was there as a bridge. Now we have Jesus who is scarred. He is coming to the disciples and he is telling them that, yes, indeed, I am Jesus. Look at my hands, look at my feet, and look at my side. And of course, I don't think they needed him to show them his scars because they were believing. But Thomas was more the analytical one who needed to see proof. And so when he came back later, he showed Thomas proof of who he was. And Thomas immediately saw the scars, knew it was Jesus. It wasn't some imposter that came, but it was Jesus, indeed Jesus. And so Thomas was rejoicing. The same Thomas that said earlier that if we go out on Jerusalem, we'll die with him, kind of a thing. Jesus has these scars for a couple of different reasons. One is to show them that he is indeed human, that he has human needs. On other occasions when Jesus meets his disciples, he tells them he's hungry, and so he cooks fish on the shoreline. And this is showing that he is human because humans get scarred and their bodies get cut and broken, and there are signs of that. I wonder too if it's something as well as saying he needed to be scarred to show that he was indeed healed, but it didn't mean that he was without scars. We can be healed, but our scars can remain. Think of those redwoods in California that have been burned over the years through forest fires and yet survive, and they grow. Some are 2,000 years old, but you look at the trees and you see black and disfigured bark, and you think, there's a story there. Something had happened to those trees. Jesus is showing them his hands and side. There's a story there. He comes to them as one of them, human. His divinity is intact, but his humanness is also intact. And he builds bridges. As proof that he is who he says he was. He's not without blemish, as none of us rarely are without blemish. There's always something going on with us. But he's also showing us how much he had suffered. And it shows the disciples that, yes, there was the scars. They had abandoned him. Some had betrayed him. And yet he came, scars and all, and forgave them, most of all. But the scar remains. His presence shows them how much he loves them. And this love is also for us as well, with all of our scars, with all of our blemishes on our souls, on our emotional sides, on our physical sides. We are still God's, and God loves us and shows us his presence with us. Amen.